Well, hi, y'all. My name is crystalimeson with Milled Artistry, coming to you from little old Wyoming, here in the western states of the U.S., where that old-time country cowboy charm is still alive and well today, as we lean into honoring our ancestors and the pioneers that came before us by crafting amazing items from the past to help you style your modern day life. From furniture and decor for your home, for your office, here in the kitchen, baking homemade pioneer inspired breads that have been redesigned to simplify your baking life at home. To up here at the jewelry bench and in our little mini hobby rock shop, where we craft raw stone jewelry for you to accent your unique fashion. So in today's episode, we're diving into the top questions that we receive. I want to welcome you to the episode today, and if you find it valuable, let me know by doing me a solid favor and sharing it out. Without further ado, let's hit it. Here at the jewelry bench, the top two questions have actually been, how do we source our stones? And what do our services look like after purchase? A good majority of our stones have actually been hand gathered by my own family. Years back, we actually sold our first home, almost everything we owned, and we moved ourselves, our dog, and our 3 kids into our camp trailer at the time. Now, yes, I do have 5 kids now, so that kind of gives you an indication of been some time since. Anywho, we moved into our camp trailer and we hit the road. We traveled all over the backcountry of the western United States, from Wyoming to California, hitting gem trails and claims and rock hounding and gold prospecting and lost treasure hunting, old ghost town hunts, and just old mining settlements. And oh my gosh, it was amazing. It truly was amazing. Like, I didn't want to come back. I really didn't. I didn't want to come back. A lot of the stones that we have came from adventures just like that one, where we went out and hand gathered beautiful stones like this. Now, this is a chalcedony rose, and I'll tell you what, it's one of my favorites. I can't help it. I love it. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. And I can't bring myself to alter them. I just can't. They are so naturally beautiful and amazing and intricate, and they have all these colors and these different designs and just shapes and characteristics that are all their own. I can't change it. I absolutely can't. The chalcedony roses are actually where I developed my first true love for jewelry making. It's actually what got me started building jewelry in the very beginning. So not all of our stones are hand-picked. We have quite a few stones that we've actually worked with other U.S.-based businesses in order to acquire. And in doing that, that allows us to get these amazing fossil pieces, and it's beautiful. So this guy is actually getting turned into an awesome bracelet right now. And then there are many pieces that we've acquired from those friends, those acquaintances that we've made while we've been on the road and in all of our travels over the many years that we spent building up this business in the beginning. And all the years that we were Western Wonders, up until this year when we changed our name as we upped our game and reopened our whole business. Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of stones from a lot of those amazing people. And often, like, their collections that have been handed down over the years, which is amazing. And I love the history that they're able to share with me. So we make sure we package these up all nice and pretty to make sure they get to you without any type of damage. whether it's the jewelry, rocks, or if it's some really cool, awesome fossils. We make sure that they are all packaged up, super nice. And then after you get your package, I'm going to be reaching out to you, making sure everything made it to you all right, that everything fits all right. A little bit later, I want to make sure that everything is comfortable, that it's nothing loose on it, that, you know, everything's good and solid. And and then after that, I'm reaching out to you again. So it's 6 months. I have this service where I do free maintenance and repair on your jewelry for the first 6 months. So I reach out at 6 months again to make sure everything is still good. After 6 months, it's no longer free. Now, there's a few reasons for that. Because after 6 months, I have to get rid of that back stock. So all of the chains that I've saved, in case of repairs coming back in that are needing any attention, all that back stock that I've saved to repair that jewelry, I got to get used up. So I change all of those out and I turn them into something as just a said and done product. So I don't have a guarantee at that point that I can find a replacement chain, which is actually why the free repair maintenance ends at 6 months. But it doesn't mean that my services to you and care for your jewelry ends at 6 months. Hell no. I have people reach out to me years later and they're just like, hey, guess what? This just happened. I'm like, okay, send it back in and let's get it all fixed back up and make it beautiful and new again. All right. And sometimes we just have fun with it and we completely redesign it. You know, in that case, you know, the prices are going to vary dramatically. So it just depends on, you know, what is actually needed. If I actually have the back stock to fix it as it is, if you just want a straight up fix, or if you want to change it up. That is what I do service wise and how we source the majority of our stones. So if we don't gather them ourselves, we're reaching out to other local US based businesses to get in the goods that we don't have access to. Here in the kitchen, talking about the most common questions we receive about our digital courses, workshops, and all of the free bread baking trainings that we do, such as what type of breads I teach and how to involve your kids in the actual baking, to how to actually make the time to bake homemade breads. My friend, I promise you can do this, and if this is something you're passionate about, I will help you every step of the way to teach you what you need to know in order to be successful in your own home bakes. Right now, we're working on some homemade bread where I am actually in the middle of a recording right now to teach in our free trainings how to do exactly what it is that I do. I want to give you all of the basic information that you need to know in order to be successful, no matter what it is that you have going on in your crazy, busy life. I get it, my friend. You're busy, and there's so many things going on, and you're juggling so many different hats. It can be hard to figure out how to fit baking homemade bread into your routine on a constant basis. I get it. I get it. I've been right there in your shoes, my friend. Take a breath. Seriously, take a breath. You've got this. And if you're serious about learning how to bake bread, I'll teach you how to do it. And I'm going to teach you the basics, walk you through step by step on how to do it successfully for free. So if you want to get in on all those free trainings, just stick with us. And if you want the best free information, I have a private group that you are welcome and invited to come and join us. That is an amazing way to get started, my friend. So my kids have grown up with me right here in the kitchen, all 5 of them. And I love to involve them in the bake and making it fun for them and a learning opportunity that they can enjoy as well as you have no idea how far the ramifications can go when you're just active with the kids and you're teaching them basic skills. If you want to start involving your kids, there are some simple, amazing tricks that you can do. Little things like starting them off with just mixing all the dry goods right along with you. Allow them to play in the flowers, to enjoy the time with you. Use it to teach them how to count, how to do math, and teach them the science behind it. The amazing science that goes into baking is extraordinary and it's so much fun. It's simple science that you can do as part of homeschooling or just your everyday life education, such as the science behind making a yeast starter. Like, look at that. You want to be successful in baking your own homemade breads, my friend? This right here is the very first step to being successful with making a yeast bread every single time. Start your yeast before you add it to your mix. So my friend, if you want to get in on this free training, you know what? This free training is hitting the group. And my friend, this is a beautiful start to a wonderful tasting bread. The types of breads that I teach, from quick yeast breads to no yeast breads to traditional yeast breads, all recipes that have been derived from pioneer methods that are actually easier and simpler to use than modern day techniques. Combine that with the amazing simplicity that is added to our lives by modern conveniences that we have at our fingertips as of today, making it a digital world. Oh yeah, that means you can access it anytime that you need it, whether it's a free content, a digital course, or a workshop. And right with me, baking side by side, my friend, as I walk you through the key steps with up and close personal footage of exactly how this all goes together, walking you through every single step, one step at a time, and telling you the information that you need to know to be successful. My friend, I fully believe that if you try baking bread and it's something that you fall in love with, I have trainings, courses, or a workshop that is designed specifically to help you in that journey so that you can take your crazy busy life and still be able to add in the nutritional, wholesome, yummy goodness, feel good tastiness of homemade bread into your own busy life in your own way with your own style. Now, how do you plan baking homemade breads into your life? My friend, I suggest we starting with one dedicated day every week. You get started baking by doing it. Get the tools that you need, the basic ingredients, and come join me and see how much fun and how simple and easy it can be. This year, all of my free trainings are completely tailored around the busy lifestyle because I get how busy life is. I get it. I've been there and I am there, right there in the trenches, right alongside with you, my friend. So, get the basic tools that you need. Pull up a free training and a free recipe from yours truly. And come join me in the group. Learn for free. See if baking homemade bread is right for you. Whether we're teaching a yeast bread, which is my specialty, or I'm teaching you no yeast breads. Now, I do not teach sourdough breads. My friend, sourdough bread is amazing. But frankly, in my own life, I have a hard time fitting it in. It's difficult for me to actually plan it out and time it just precisely enough with all the things going on in my life. Which is why I love a good yeast bread. Full on no yeast loaf breads and the fastest yet baking soda breads. Beautiful thing when I can whip up some amazing tasting biscuits in a snap of my fingers and carry on with my day no matter what my bread cupboard looks like. I hope that you can enjoy the baking experience as much as I do, even on the good days and the bad days. So the most common questions we receive with our wood shop is, how do we source our lumber? What exactly do we build with it? And how much of the original wood do we save? Well, I'm coming to you from here in our wood shop, and we're so excited to have it back up and going. We still have a lot of work to do, but to actually have a usable work area to do our woodworking and a lot of our bigger jobs is just amazing. It's finally laid out, it's clean, and we can find all of our tools. So this is something we never had in the shop before. And when we got done building the house, and because we built our house, and by the time we got done, all of our tools were wore out, and we're like, you know what, we've got to clean this up. We've got to take care of this. This shop is actually where we've done the majority of a lot of our builds in the past. And it was always just make do with what you have. And you climb up on top of tables and sort through boxes and boxes and everything else, just trying to find the tools that you needed. We had so much stuff jammed into this shop. So my husband, my kids, even my mother-in-law are the ones that have been working on this. And they're getting it all laid out. They spent months cleaning this place. So how we source our wood is one of the biggest questions that we get. So we source our wood mostly from the western states and generally from right here in our local surrounding area. So here in Wyoming and sometimes over into Idaho. We have tore down barns and we gather scrap wood, scrap piles from our neighbors. We even go to construction sites and we gather up all of the unusable material that they have left over that they can't use in the build, which is pretty cool. So we use a mix of old wood and new wood. We have neighbors and friends that just come and drop stuff off to us, which is really awesome. I love it when someone knocks on my door and they're just like, hey, you know what? I've got this old wagon wheel. I knew exactly where it needed to go when we seen it, because they can't use it. But they want to keep that history alive, and that is where we come in. We step in and we save as much of the item as possible, and we do kind of a conservation restoration on it as on the actual pieces, and then we transform it into something new. So like we have an old wagon wheel. So it's missing a couple spokes. Part of the actual wheel is broken, and the shoe is too big now. So I've got a lot of work to actually turn that back into a complete wheel again. I will be turning it into a really cool bar table. So we've got a whole bunch of different pieces like that, and that's what we do with them. We save as much of the history as possible on it, and we tell you the history behind it on every piece that we can. And, you know, so an old wagon wheel, yeah, there's not a whole lot of use for it unless it's decoration. But they're so heavy and awkward, you know, let's make it something that's actually functional and decorative. And that is how we source the majority of our wood. Now, in the rare occasion, I will actually have somebody bring stuff in to us. I love my brother. He is awesome. So him and his son actually did the work of getting this trailer loaded for us. It's the last of the wood that he has left over from an old barn that was on a property that he was developing. So this particular barn has had 3 major construction build times on it. And that's just from what I've been able to decipher by looking at the actual cuts in the wood, the types of woods that were used, and the type of nails and hardware that were used. We've got newer lumber here all over the place. So this is actually from the last remodel, the last addition that was done on it. That was in about the 1950s. And we can tell that by the type of nails that were used and just the actual cut of the wood itself. Whereas a lot of these old beams, this is a roof rafter right here. So this was sawn on an old steam power or water wheel circle mill. And you can tell that by the slight curved cut that's in here. So this was mechanically driven, but this is one of your early ones, and you can tell that by the different variations of how it cut while it was being fed through. And you can see the same cuts echoing throughout all of the old original pieces of this. It was taken down, and we are ending up with the last of it. In fact, we got another load that we need to go pick up, but first we've got to finish taking care of this. So you can see all the old bolts. So this is from the remodel that was done. These bolts are from a remodel or fixing, repairing of the barn that was done about 1910, roundabout, somewhere around 1910 is what this hardware is from. And we get down here. So the original building was an old timber frame building, which is really cool. So it's a turn of the century original build. So this happened in the late 1890, I would say, probably. So this is really old wood, and you can see just by how the grains are all popped up that the age is far different than some of the other pieces that are in here. So a timber frame building, it's all notched and pegged together. There's no nails in it. And what they do, all of these are hand cut notches, and they fit precisely together with its matching piece. Take a brand new oak peg. So brand new means that it's still wet. The wood itself hasn't dried out. So they take that and they pound that into the dried out wood that they made the timbers from. And as that peg dries up, it like sucks everything together super, super tight. And it's already tight as it is because these notches fit together perfectly. It's really cool to see all of these, just all of it. So we've got our, like, oh my gosh, we've pulled so many nails. Like that one's all rusted out, in fact. So many nails. And so most of these do not have the rose head on them, which means they weren't hand forged. But there are some that are. We also have a lot of old hand forged metal that is actually on here. It's kind of cool when you're going through these old pieces, because old ranchers and old farmers, they used whatever it is that they had on hand to get the job done. This right here is an old scraper blade that they drilled through to fix this beam, because this beam had broken at one point in time. But that's what they did. That was their fix. They took an old scraper blade that's been broken, and You know, it's no longer good for farm equipment or road building. So, yeah, let's fix the barn with it, shall we? But this is one way we source stuff. People drop stuff off to us all the time. It's pretty cool. How much of the original wood do we save? Well, we save and use as much of the wood as we absolutely possibly can. So pieces that are rotten out and not really functional anymore, they can't hold a nail, we restabilize that wood, or we embed it into epoxy tables. So it allows that wood to continue to live on and that history to remain strong for future generations. There used to be this very dim, glinting idea of a dream that one day we could be present in our children's lives. That one day we could actually be in charge of raising our own children, not the schools or the babysitter that they were being dropped off to one after another as we ran from job to job just to make ends meet. Selling everything and leaving everyone we'd ever known behind was the most scary and exciting undertaking we've ever dared to do. We moved mountains and changed our own lives and the future for our children. We didn't start this for the money. We did this for the experience and for the chance of living the dream. We would not be where we are today without the amazing support from our family, our friends, neighbors, and the most amazing customers anyone could ever ask for. Without you supporting us and encouraging us on when those hard days come, we would not still be here strong. We thank you.